Free job.
Hey, JB, speaking of politics, you know the dean of black journalism. I got to run a whole bunch of things by you. And one I want to ask you. Of course, I'm following this Park Hill Golf Course thing in this easement because I keep telling you all I have a $2 million investment in that, and I'm not too sure what I'm going to get out of it. And that's not even considering how much the value of my $2 million investment has gained from then to now. But have you been following this story about now U.S. Senator John Hickenlooper? I understand that he voted along with the Republican kind of sponsor to say we're not going to do stimulus checks for our undocumented workers. Like,
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Why is it tough?
Because I'm going to say, if you put money in, you should get money out.
That's me.
That's me. If you don't put nothing in, and you want the privileges of being and existing, then I'm not. Now, understand, I'm not hating on people wanting to come here and be here. Just do the right thing.
Wait, JB, what are you saying?
Come on now.
What are you talking about? Hold on a second, JB.
What I'm talking about
break
is
it down.
You don't put nothing in, why should you get a stimulus check?
Well, hold on a second. By the very nature of the title, undocumented workers, let's just focus on that second part. Workers.
I'm not arguing with that.
So the second part of this means you can, I get it. If you don't put nothing in, you don't get nothing out. So if you hadn't filed income taxes or whatever, you're not getting a stimulus check, or maybe if you wasn't working, I don't know.
No,
but
it's a this is a situation from a collective pool.
But
right?
This is a situation where we're talking about workers. Like, now the other side of your argument has to be this: if you put something in, you should be able to get something out.
Well, what I'm saying is, I'm not disregarding the fact that they pay taxes. Every time they go shopping, every time somebody goes shopping, whether you have a passport, or whether you're legal or illegal, when you work, you get money. You go and you spend your money and you pay taxes in some shape, form, or whatever. But at this federal level, to me, it seems like, I don't know, man. I'm not hating on Hickenlooper.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying let's evaluate the policy. It's the big thing. Everyone's talking about it. And aren't we supposed to, as citizens, vote? And even if, the candidate that gets in might not be our candidate or whatever, aren't you supposed to scrutinize their votes and their policy? So let's scrutinize one that I just think that, folks are talking about, because a lot of folks are feeling some kind of way.
Well, they're calling them names already. They're calling them names already. They're saying that he has turned out to be not a progressive, as Bennett supposedly is. He's turned out to be a conservative progressive.
No, that's not JB. No, Hickenlooper was never a progressive. I think I would find Bennett's not a progressive. I would say Bennett is more moderate.
I don't even know what is a progressive, what is a moderate? I don't even know what these terms mean. People throw these terms out and they just, he's this, he's that, he's this.
It's on the political, JB, it's on the political continuum. If you're more like, okay, let's do it like this. Folks who call themselves progressive in the Democratic Party are not progressive to individuals who might be in the Green Party.
Or in the Republican Party.
Now,
or in the Tea Party.
Now they would say that there are Democrats that are more in line with the philosophies of the Republican Party. So I would say that would push you more this way, and you're somewhere on that continuum. And so with that being said, I don't know if, in fact, the folks who are upset with Hickenlooper, and rightly so, if they're a progressive, they're going to always be upset with Hickenlooper because Hickenlooper is not a progressive. So your values are probably never going to be reflected in his tenure. Like, if you're expecting someone who leans even closer, like like can partner with the Republicans. Not saying I don't know like that far behind to get behind whatever it is that they like, and you're way over here. You're gonna have a lot of sleepless nights, and the problem is gonna be because we didn't get a progressive elected. You got what you got, and there were a whole bunch of progressive that ran, and none of them won. What does that say about what does that say about that far end? Because they're going to be taking some poundings all during. I guarantee you, if you're a progressive, you in for a rough ride.
See, and it's all this named. It's all these names. It's nomenclature. We look, Democrats, Republicans. On the other side of the Republicans are Tea Party, and on the far side of that is QAnon, or whatever they call themselves, okay? And so now you got the Democratic Party. So now you got progressives, you got moderates, and you got Bernies. And so every party has its friend.
It's a continuum.
And so like you said, the continuum. So bottom line is, people knew what Hickenlooper was coming in. They knew what kind of governor he was. We knew what kind of businessman he was. And we elected him. And we elected him a couple times. And now we put him in the Congress. So obviously, whatever his mindset is and whatever his direction is, whether it's progressive, moderate, I don't know, whatever the term is, he's a Democrat. He represents Democratic people's thoughts in Denver.
He's a Democratic Party member whose leanings are more to the right than they are to the left.
And
that's okay. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. What's wrong with that?
It's the only thing wrong with it is if you're on the left. If it like that's
He's
why you
that's
why you elect folks, you get behind, you fund, you roll up your sleeves, you boom, boom, boom. I already told you when I watched that whole primary play out. Now, I know you and Gerald and others, and rightly so, do not allow Brother Jeff to speak sports. Because I really don't
speak what?
Sports.
Oh,
because I really don't know sports. But I do have an understanding that Tom Brady is probably the GOAT. And I don't care if they deflate the football or they cut the lights off at the Super Bowl at halftime, or even when he gets the next ring, he leaves the town he was in and heads to another town, and everybody got some feelings about him. Say what you want. He's a winner. Say what you want about Hickenlooper.
He's a winner.
He's the GOAT in this town. Like, he's undefeated, and he had a smart strategy. First of all, you had a slew of progressives running against one another. Like, when I looked at that whole grouping of folks that were running for the U.S. Senate, a good majority were those who considered themselves progressives. So Hickenlooper was running above his head to try to be the president of the United States of America. He got in that big tank and obviously couldn't swim, and you could tell by the way. No, he couldn't swim. He couldn't swim nationally. No, he couldn't.
I'm not saying he could. But what I'm saying is, I don't discount the National Democratic Party with telling Hickenlooper, look, you may not have the necessary appeal, to everyone, even though he's been elected governor several times in Colorado, okay, and mayor and whatever. I think they put him in that race to pull him out of that race and run him for governor.
That's the point. Whatever the game plan is, like Washington wanted Hickenlooper,
correct,
and you can't say that Colorado
didn't.
Well, the folks had an opportunity to weigh in. There was a primary. And he did win.
It didn't matter.
But look at the strategy. Look at the strategy. And I think it's fascinating. You've got all of these progressives, and everyone would complain. Like, first of all, Hickenlooper jumped in deep in the playoffs. He didn't even have a regular season. He was like Joe Biden. John Hickenlooper came in at the what do they call it? They call it the
11th hour.
No, when the national game, when the North, the NFC and the AFC, the championship game. The division champ.
conference,
No, he didn't even come in at the division champion. He came in at the damn near the Super Bowl. You know,
the conference championships.
yeah. And but the point being is this: he's running for a national ticket, and you know, politics is you give me that, I'll give you this. It's all backdoor. It's all the cigar. It's all the and all of the folks who think it's something different is like wishing, hoping, and praying. But Washington decided that they needed to control the House and the Senate, and whatever they was going to do, they was going to drop all of their money behind a particular candidate. Turned out that candidate was John Hickenlooper, because when he dropped out, if you look at all those folks who dropped out of the presidential race, Biden's giving them all positions and cabinet positions, and it's just how it works. But if I was Hickenlooper, the best game plan was all these progressives, I ain't one. When he was running for the presidency, remember he was saying, we can't have a socialist, and he got booed in California and all that stuff, and he still kept the party line. He kept showing, I ain't that. I'm not that. And so he distinguished himself from all those progressives. The progressives, they didn't huddle up. Remember, when all them white guys were generally running against Hickenlooper, running against each other, the moment Hickenlooper jumped in, they all jumped out and got behind one person, and his name was Hickenlooper. All the progressives stayed in, scratching, clawing, fighting, doing all those different things, and now he's running 1 against 6. Like, okay, that they were talking about, and he won't come to any of the debates. Why would I come to a debate when I could just watch you badger each other up? I'm not going to jump in there and let you all do 5 against 1. I'm going to let you all be 5 against 5. And now all of a sudden he wins.
1 against 1.
He wins when they finally got one white man against one white man. You know, all of that other stuff notwithstanding, who all the progressives, a lot of them didn't get behind 100% and say, let's get behind a progressive. They like, I don't like Hickenlooper. I don't like this. I'm not in it. I'm like, I'm not in it. And like, not in it just got you a vote for, we ain't giving no stimulus checks to immigrants. Cause that's one of them socialist kind of, that's way over there and I ain't over there. And my first vote is going to prove to you that I ain't over there, and you get what you got.
And his entry into the race was no different than Joe Biden's. Joe didn't enter in Iowa and some of the early ones, Vermont or New Hampshire, wherever they were first, and he didn't get in till where? South Carolina, when he knew James Clyburn was going to be his man of the hour, and work that system in South Carolina and win that election down there. So
Hickenlooper beat Romanoff, but I'm telling you. This is a show that triggers people and folks get all bent up about politics. I'm just calling it like I see it. When you had all of the women saying that it was time for a woman to be the U.S. senator, even when they didn't drop out or did drop out, they didn't get behind a woman and support them. Like,
that's true.
They didn't did you see the white guys do the playbook? Hickenlooper jumps in, we all jump out. Everybody says it's time for a woman to be a new U.S. senator. Even when
everybody, you're sounding like Trump. Everybody knows. Everybody says.
Well, the ones who were running, I'm talking about. There were several great qualified women. I can name about 5 of them.
Well, if they were great, they would have ingratiated themselves to the Democratic National Party.
But but I don't know if we should have to ingratiate ourselves to Washington. We should ingratiate ourselves to
at least
state,
get their support,
our state electorate. And I'm just saying, the point is, when the women were dropping out, they weren't jumping in to get behind a woman. Some of them just became silent. Some of them became just left out. I believe that Diana Bray actually said, you know what, I'm going to get behind Stephanie, or I'm going to get behind Lorena, or those different things. But by and large, they didn't do, and the progressives didn't do what those long-standing old politics and politicians knew what to do, and that was to get behind one candidate, run them, and then by the time you got to the primary between Romanoff and and Hickenlooper, you didn't see a groundswell of all them progressives saying, let's get behind Romanoff and make sure we get a progressive in there. It was like, he ain't the right one, or mines didn't make it. And now you have the first vote more leaning to what the Republicans like as opposed or let me say the right or the moderate or the whatever, because I'm the type of person that says if you're working, you should get a stimulus check. I'm the type of person that knows that this economy is built off the back of workers and those who are discriminated against. And one of the ways to discriminate against them is their status. You want them to be not with status so you can collect money. All that money that they're paying into the system, they don't never get it back. We're talking about all these issues that are progressives, and the progressives, until they run and win a progressive candidate, you're going to keep getting what you're getting.
But they do get something back. What they get back is being in America and being free from whatever they were leaving in Mexico. Are you telling me that with all the money that goes to Mexico from people that travel and tourism and everything else, Mexico has money? It's not like the government in Mexico doesn't have money.
All immigrants aren't Mexicans.
I'm not saying they are. I'm just picking one particular place.
Well, ain't none of them getting nothing.
We can say Africa. We can say Asia. We can say wherever people are coming here from. We can say Europe. White folks don't come here and not expect to get freedom and get rich. Everybody who comes here comes for one reason, and that's because of whatever pressure they were under in the countries that they're from. Is that not correct?
Some folks come because of privilege, like Melania. How'd Melania come? How'd Melania come?
That's true too. She got chain migration. She got chain migrated in.
You telling me white immigrants get treated like brown and black immigrants in the U.S.?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying they come for the same reasons. They come to be free.
Okay, but the point I would
that's why they're rioting in Russia right now over this guy that is Putin's opponent. That's why those people in Russia are out in the streets right now, because they're tired of being treated like they're being treated. If they could come like Melania did to America, don't you think they would? Everybody wants to be in America.
That's the narrative that people most believe, but I don't believe everybody wants to be an American. Some people just want to be left alone by American policy in their own countries. Some folks just want to be left alone.
But why do they come here?
That's a lot of reasons. But the point that I'm making is this. John Hickenlooper is not a progressive. So if you're going to get upset by any of the votes he puts forward, I don't think any of them going to be progressive. Like he ran as a presidential candidate saying we can't have a socialist candidates. We can't have socialism in this country.
We already have socialism, Jeff. We have Social Security.
Those words are so far right. Those words are so far right. When you start talking about calling folks socialists and all of this stuff as if that's a problem, but painting like those folks over there are going to destroy this country, those are messages for individuals. And you've got to remember, when you get in the game and you can do ballot collections, signatures and caucus, you can wear belts and suspenders, and you got the bank behind you to make sure you get in one way or another. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. You played the game as it's being played, and folks who don't like it gonna have to change them rules, or they're gonna keep getting beat by Tom Brady.
Or they'll keep the big joker in their hand.
Of course. JB, I gotta go because I'm gonna be with the young people on Martin Luther King Early Academy. They're about to do their podcast, and I've gotta go. Don't forget, everybody go to brotherjeff.com, make a donation of any amount. Politics are politics. And you just got to run the candidates that are in line with your values. And if, like, for example, a lot of folks were held hostage by Trump for 4 years, and a lot of folks celebrated the fact that Trump was in office. And now a lot of folks are saying, Trump was cheated and we got stopped the steal. And now you start seeing folks making posts like Hickenlooper stole the election. It's like once you lose, everybody thinks that you stole it. No,
But this wasn't the only state that the National Party wanted to work.
Because Hickenlooper's the GOAT. Everybody wants Tom Brady.
They worked Atlanta for 2 Democratic senators. They worked Arizona for 2 Democratic senators. Come on now, we're pulling out one little section here in Colorado, but this was a national game they were playing to get to 50-50 in the Senate.
Exactly.
And Kamala Harris with the deciding vote.
Hey, JB.
Yes, sir.
What about those undocumented immigrants working in all these meat packing plants and doing all this stuff, and all these essential workers that's making it possible for you to put the steak on the grill and enjoy the American dream? We just gonna keep kicking them.
Hundreds of them have died in these plants. This has got to make you stop. If you eat meat now. The COVID virus that killed all these people in these meatpacking plants from here to Nebraska and further, that's got to make you think about whether you really want to be a vegetarian or whether you want to change your diet.
JB, before I go, can you tell me what my $2 million is worth? Because I understand the mayor is getting ready to start with the planning process of, the Park Hill Golf Course. And can you explain to me, like, when I buy a piece of property, how does the city get to come in and fund all of my kind of like planning and decide what's happening with Park Hill Golf Course?
On our end, I'm speaking, from the Park Hill Neighborhood Association. We just had a meeting this week, and they're actually printing T-shirts and going out and you got West Side's doing a survey, in the neighborhoods to see what people want to go on that property. Park Hill Neighborhood Association is getting ready to do a survey as well. And so I don't understand. This has to go through the courts. This cannot be something that the mayor is going to do or the council is going to do. This has to be adjudicated. And if you appoint the judges, or if the judges are elected by the Democrat, I don't know. Maybe we won't see as much open space as we'd like to see there. And Webb has already said, once they pour concrete, there's not going to be no grass. They won't pull up concrete to put grass down. So I mean, this is a tough one.
JB, do you think that our tax dollars are wisely spent? And I like all. I appreciate all of the people on all different sides of this, but this is such a hotly contested issue. Shouldn't we just go on ahead and go to court and then see what can be done then? Yes. Like, why do we keep spending dollars and doing things like, fighting the sweeps and,
now what we have now in Park Hill, what we have now, Jeff, is we have West Side, who are not dumb, as it goes with developers. What are they doing? They've added black folks to the mix on their side of the issue.
Well, that's good. We said we want black ownership.
It's good. It's good. However, some are saying that people who are coming out on that side of the road, so to speak, are probably getting some financial gain from it. I don't know if it's true or not.
But that's business. If you invest in a business, you probably want financial gain.
Absolutely.
You got to celebrate that. I'm just talking about process. Like, for example, I keep asking folks, what does Brother Jeff get for his $2 million? And I'm not seeing what it is. And even if it's visioning, don't we honor easements? Like, don't we have to play by the rules? Why do the big people never have to play by the rules? Why are you putting the cart before the horse when you're supposed to have, certain parameters where we have a voice in what we want because we paid for whatever open space? If you want a vision, like maybe Brother Jeff wants just a big park. Like maybe I just want a big city park.
Because it got snuck on us.
That's what I want.
We got snuck on this thing.
Maybe I just want a park.
I tell you, the mayor back in the day saw something going on, and he said, "Well, if this thing ever gets sold, developers will get it." So what does he do?
Maybe I just want a park.
He goes in and gets a guy who does, land conservation easements around the state on big parcels of land. And they say, well, let's put that under there and we'll hold it. And now nobody will be able to develop it because we'll have the land rights, they'll have developmental rights, and nothing will get done.
Well, JB, can we talk about this next week? I got to go talk with the young people.
How about those? Do you have paper tags on your car?
Huh?
Did you see what happened this week?
No, but JB, I just want to like JB. I just want to ask. Now that they're doing this planning process, do you know what the first question should be that's presented to the community or everybody that's dealing with the park and all of that, or Park Hill Golf Course? The first question should be, do you trust Mayor Hancock and his administration to issue a fair process as it relates to development, land, property rights, and easements? What say you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Look. Hey, did you see that question should be number one?
That should be first. You should just say, okay, we're about to go through a whole long process. We're going to spend a lot of money, but we got to ask you: do you trust your city government under the leadership of Mayor Hancock to issue a fair assessment of what you want? And do you trust what's being brought in front of you right now?
The reasons you can't are the Colorado Convention Center downtown, the Denver International Airport, the highway project on I-70, the golf course, City Park Golf Course fiasco that is now home for all the Canadian geese in America. And are
you talking about the geese that got killed with the meat being fed to our unhoused neighbors?
No, I'm talking about the geese that are there now. I'm talking about the next generation. That's 2 years ago. I'm talking about there's millions of them there. And when that bald eagle from City Park, from the zoo that hangs out of the zoo, when that eagle flies over there, man, them geese are scattered, man. It's like crazy. But let me ask you this one. Jeff, Chris Herndon and the mayor are getting ready to do something to have their names put on plaques all over Denver. You know what they're doing, right?
What? No.
People always want to say, well, I'm responsible for that right there. I'm responsible for that. So now they're going to be responsible for a Juneteenth holiday in Denver. They're putting their names on a piece of paper that say, we, Chris Herndon, lame duck city councilman, Michael Hancock, lame duck mayor, we're going to have something that people will remember us by. We can't put up a statue because we already got one. We can't have a parade because we already got one. So we're going to make Juneteenth a Colorado, Denver holiday. But you won't get the day off. You won't get anything for it.
What's wrong with that, JB? I like that.
Because of all the pressure he's under, the message to the mayor, because all the pressure that Herndon is under for being a developer in disguise as a city councilor. Come on, man. This is nothing more than let my name go on forever and not be associated with a situation with my security detail or with flying to Mississippi or all these other negative things. They don't want the negative things to be the things that are remembered. So they're going to come with, we want to be the ones that gave you Juneteenth.
Well, that's fine. Like what? I don't know why that's a problem. But I do like.
It's not a problem, but they should have done it a long time ago. Why you wait till the day you're leaving office to do it? Just so I can be remembered.
That goes back to the first question that I'm going to have asked at these planning sessions is, do you trust the motives and the integrity as it relates to not the person who's presenting the process, but the folks that's paying for the process? Like, do you trust Mayor Hancock to honestly listen to you as a community as it relates to what you want as it relates to the Park Hill Golf Course, when in fact there's something called an easement that every attorney in the world or every real estate broker would tell you, if you purchase something with an easement, you're going to have a partnership with, whatever you partner with, you're going to have a partnership with someone. Maybe the planning process is a part of the process, and maybe it's what we need we could figure out how the easement's going to work out. But maybe it is a good thing. But when you've been such a slimy kind of political person in bed with these developers and money and all that stuff, the people just kind of don't believe you.
Mayor Hancock. We don't believe you.
No one wants to tell me what I get for my $2 million.
Brother, if you had $2 million and you gave it to the city, you got snookered.
Okay, JB, as it stands right now, if you ask me what I want, I'm just going to say I want a park right now. I want a park quadruple the size of City Park. I just want a park.
It can't be put there.
I already got the green space. If you say what I want, I'm going to just say make it a park. And put some trees up. And I'm going to have Albus plant those trees, the ones, them 100-year-old trees he cut down at the golf course up the street. Get Chris Hearn and Hancock and Albus together and have them plant some trees. That's what I want. Have them plant trees over there.
Man, they would never put on some gloves and work out in the yard in the fields like that. Come on, man, you know better.
JB, I gotta go.
Hey, look, man. All I know is we got troubles. Where city is under budgeted. We're getting hammered. The taxes are gonna go up. You know that vote you made on that Gallagher amendment to get rid of that? Did you see the article? $124 million short fund because of that. And the taxes on your property are going to go up. Come on, man. We just voted ourselves into a pickle, and people are good. If they're black folks left.
Well, just in terms of politics, JB, just in terms of politics, keep your eye on it. Keep your eye on it. In your third eye. Put your third eye on it. Don't forget about Chubby Curls, educating the natural community one scalp at a time. We've got those little skinny curls. Make them chubby, chubbycurls.com, brotherjeff.com. I got to go and talk with the young people, the MLK early college out there in Montbello. They're getting ready to do their show, and I promised to be a part of that. And you know how I am with the young people. When the young people call, gotta go. So we'll talk more. We'll talk more. JB, the Dean of Black Journalism. Have a great Friday, and we will talk to you soon. Don't forget, if you go down swinging. Just might score a knockout. Rumble, young man, woman, and community. Rumble.